Hey everyone, Stephen here again from Marketplace Superheroes, and I have somebody who's doing really well with the program. Somebody that you're going to get to meet today is Dan. Dan, how you doing, sir?
Hey, Stephen. I'm doing really well. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Of course, I'm glad that you're here. So tell everybody where you're from, because I actually never really asked that, and it's good to get a sense of it in case people don't recognize your accent. That'd be great.
Yeah, sure. I'm from just north of Edinburgh in Scotland originally, and I live down in Manchester in England now these
There you
days.
go. Well, you haven't lost your accent, which is good.
Yeah, some people pick up on it, some people don't, but yeah.
I can definitely hear it. So look, you're here today to talk about your Amazon journey so far. So I think where I always start, and I love hearing where people figured out that Amazon was the thing for them. How did you get into the Amazon game? Like, where did you hear about this in the first place, Dan?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like growing up, I was never had any intentions of like being a business owner. I didn't. Well, I had my grand and granddad in my life who owned a pub, but I could definitely tell that wasn't the sort of lifestyle I wanted, being like in the job all the time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of when I hit about 30 and like had a house, I got married, had a cat, and like all these sort of like life things adding up.
Yeah.
I've always been like decent with money, but quite defensive. And I was starting to think there must be something better I could be doing with my money to, get forward in life a bit more. So yeah, I started looking online, found stuff about like the FIRE movement, if you've heard of that, saving a lot of money and trying to increase your wealth that way, which appeals to my sort of lifestyle. But then that progressed into, I know a lot of people say this, but like Stephen James's channel, Project
Yeah.
Life Mastery, seen the stuff him and Tatiana were doing with Amazon FBA. And that, yes, kind of triggered something in my head. And I was like, this sounds really interesting. Then I was looking around, trying to find different courses. And when I found you guys and saw that you focused on Europe, as well as the US, obviously, that really resonated with me because like, oh, well, that's where I'm from. I can kind of relate to that.
Yeah.
The model just made a lot of sense. So yeah, just took a dive, went for
Very
it.
good. Okay, cool. A lot of people found us from Stefan and Tatiana, and it's great because a lot of our best students came from there, and obviously you're really good students. So it's just great that we have the internet, we have YouTube, we have these capabilities. So I'm delighted that you came from there and you got into it. So you started into it, went into the program. Tell me about your experience, like finding your first product or products. How was that whole journey for you? Was there anything maybe, because a lot of people come on here and they say, yeah, like, I could have actually found it a lot quicker, but I held myself back, things like that. How was your journey at that point?
I would say the potentially the bigger barrier for me was just investing up front in the first place. Like I'd never invested, $1,000 just in me as like personal development. So getting over that barrier was a mental challenge at first. But once I got beyond that, I mean, I found the structure of the course great. Like the fact that you do a module, you guys would give people objectives, and it's like, don't progress until you've done those.
Yeah.
Like I found it really easy to just get a bit of cadence and just, get something done, move on, get the next bit done.
Yeah.
So I didn't really find any blockers in that necessarily. Yeah, just a lot of time researching products.
Yeah.
I managed to get to the point where I had 3 products that were ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of where I started. Like I didn't want to launch with one. I kind of wanted to jump in with multiple and really get going from the off. So yeah, I started with 3 up front.
Okay, cool. So how's that been? Obviously, you don't have to get into like money or anything, but like how has your business? Have you made any sales? I mean, I know you have, but just for anybody who's watching, you've made sales. Your products have done something for you. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
I think like you guys always kind of emphasize, it's a bit of a numbers game with almost everything in these kind of businesses. And for me, like one of the products I got did really well over winter.
Yeah.
One of the products I got has done pretty consistently well.
Yeah.
And the other one has just basically been a no-go, really. I mean, it'll sell out, but it's nothing special. I don't think I'll be getting another order of it.
How long would you say that one would take to sell out then? About a year, that kind of time, would you think?
Yeah, probably about that.
We always say if you're doubling your money in a year, it's not so bad as well. But then I know like you have a bit of storage costs and things like that. But sometimes it can work out. Sometimes, yeah, it is just worth cutting it and just saying no. I'll just sell it out. I'll take my money because you probably made a little bit of money there. Maybe I don't know if you're going to break even or make some money there. But then you find new ones. But I mean, in that time of like having one doing well, one did well seasonal, one didn't do so well, that's fair enough. It's pretty good hit rate. What would you say like you've learned, Ben? Have you learned about what types of products you should do better in the future? You've learned like some mistakes. Maybe share some of those mistakes with us.
Yeah, the first thing I'd say is, although I was looking at the POI and the POR that you guys talk about,
Yeah,
and they seem relatively on point, I would say the actual sales price and the actual like cost price margin you're making is quite important as well.
yeah,
So a couple of the products were pretty low, sort of £10, that sort
yeah.
of.
So they
So
be better to have a higher price product for sure.
yeah, so you might be talking, oh, it's 100% POI, but it's £1.50 profit
Yeah,
at this
that's
point.
a lot of them. Yeah,
And it's also hard to break even when you've got advertising costs and things like that
yeah,
involved.
yeah.
So the product I've done best in is sitting at around like the £30 mark, and there's much more like wiggle room to play with advertising and things like that. So definitely looking at the absolute margin as well as the kind of percentage margin next time.
I fully agree with
Um,
that. Yep.
yeah. And the one that is kind of a no-goer, like I was saying, is definitely too competitive a market and too dominated by particularly one other competitor, but there's just a lot of the same stuff. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things like in hindsight, you look and you're like, why did I think that was a good thing?
I well, a lot of that time, like it comes down to the fact when you're starting something, you don't know if it's going to work or not, and you're kind of going, well, if I buy something that's really competitive, I know it sells, but then
Mm,
really on the other side, with the model that we have, as you know, it would have been better going with something that's not as competitive. But the problem is that this weird thing of like all the numbers are telling me I should go this way, but still my brain, because it wants to protect me, it kind of brings me this way. And I see a lot of people make that error, but then everyone says, well, I know going forward, I'm never going to make that error again because, that's not a good idea. So the fact you've learned that, and in fairness, if you sell out and maybe you get your money back, maybe you make a little profit on it or whatever, or maybe even a slight loss, it's good because you've learned a ton from that product.
absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that.
So you've got product selling, you're moving. What's your goal now? Like I know you've been doing some other little side hustles and things as well, right? So you've been raising money, doing different little bits and pieces. What's your kind of goal overall? Are you looking to invest more, get some side hustles going, and then use that money to grow your business, or what's your plan?
Yes, in terms of the business itself, I'm working on a few things. So getting trademarks and copyrights in place. I'm working with Robert Wright on that. Again, great to have resources sort of at your fingertips. I am in the process of getting another product. It's in production at the moment,
Brilliant.
so hopefully within a few months that'll be going. There's another really good one that trying to get the money raised to get into as well. And like you say, yeah, trying to do a few extra things on the side. So I make iOS apps as a living, and so I've managed to do a bit extra on the side to get a bit of extra money. Also doing a bit of like arbitrage on eBay, finding old stuff in the attic to sell on eBay, all this sort of stuff. So you're just always looking for ways I can get a bit of extra income, because at the
Yeah.
moment I don't think the blocker is research or opportunity. It is just cash
Yeah,
basically.
just having the money to be able to buy all these new opportunities that you're finding, and that makes sense. That like that's the gap, that's the block for a lot of people and a lot of businesses, which is why with me, we're building Side Hustle Heroes as well, because we need to be able to teach skills, and it's great you have that skill of iOS, and I think you could actually do a lot with that. Now I didn't realize that. I don't know why I didn't know that about you, but that's something you could do a lot with, and you could raise a lot more capital with. I mean, there's tons of stuff you could do there, even teaching it and certain things like that as well. So there's a lot of opportunity for you because you have some of those skills. So I'd be excited about that actually. And at the end of the day, like you've got products up and running, you're making sales every month, you're growing, you're adding more products into your business. So I think what this has really done is it's validated for you that it works, it makes money, and now your only main goal is just to go, okay, I know it all works. Now I just got to keep on raising more capital and putting it in. That'd be about right.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it kind of took me a little bit by surprise how, I don't know, bought into the whole thing I was, like going through the course.
Yeah.
I think you guys just did like, you're obviously really trustworthy guys, really genuine guys, and that came across. And so I had no reservations about putting money down on my first order by the time I got to that point.
Right.
And like you say, actually having products under my belt now, it's the same. Like I'm ready to go. I just
Yeah.
need the cash to do it. So yeah, got
Okay.
to get it done.
Well, the nice thing is that the products that are working for you, like especially that main one again, like as that goes and goes, you can get that funded, over time, and then that's going to enable you to raise money to free up money for your other products as well. And again, there's loads of stuff you can do and learn that I'm like we're teaching more of. You should be checking out as well to raise money faster. I mean, I see people even with some side hustles and they're making an extra two grand a month now, 3 grand a month, which is great because they can put all that in because it's a side hustle. So I think stuff like that would be a good addition for you. But yeah, look, I'm really proud of the results you've achieved. I think, I don't know about you, but I get tired of people coming on and, talking about, I'm doing 100, 200 grand a month and all that, which is grand. And I do share some of that on my Instagram. But at the end of the day, like, when I was in your position, I was just like you, I was just getting up and running. I was just proving to myself I can do it. And now you'll look back now in a couple of years and you'll be like, wow, like, look where I've come over just a few years of doing stuff like this. So I'd be very excited about your future. I hope you are as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think you always say like consistency is key and like take little steps at a time. And yeah, it's definitely how I feel as well. Like if I can do something every day that makes the business run better or improve, get to where I want to go, like that's all you can ask for really, right? Just
I agree. And I'll make one final point for anybody watching. Dan made a really good unbiased review of Marketplace Superheroes. It's on YouTube as well. I'll link it up down in the description. You guys can go and watch his review. You can hear his he's talked a lot about his story today, but he'll go into more detail on his thoughts on the program and stuff like that. So look, I'll link it up. You guys can go check that out and see what you think. But in the meantime, Dan, I just want to thank you for coming on. Thanks for sharing your story and some of the learnings you've had as well. I think some really valuable stuff like not selling low price products. It was a big one that I think a lot of people will take away as the main big one today. Understanding your numbers, very important as well. I think that's key. And then having that kind of side hustle or something in place if you're lower on capital to get more money into your business, I think 3 really good points. So thanks again for coming on. I appreciate you taking the time. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of people would love to just hashtag thanks Dan down below if you or even just type thanks Dan if you enjoyed Dan's story. I think you might enjoy seeing a few comments down there, Dan.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks again for your time, dude.